All right, tonight's exclusive clip from the Hill's interview with the Uranium One FBI informant William Douglas Campbell details what he learned while undercover regarding Russia's role in the Iran nuclear program. This is so pivotal. And the fact that the media cares about Stormy and not this is breathtaking to me.
The people I was working with had been briefed by Moscow to keep a very low profile regarding Moscow's relationship with Tehran. Moscow was supplying equipment, nuclear services to Iran, and Moscow, specifically the leadership in Moscow, were concerned that it would offset the strategy they had here in the United States if the United States understood the close relationship between Moscow and Tehran.
Here with more, investigative reporters John Solomon and Campbell's attorney Victoria Toensing, Fox News contributor and investigative reporter Sarah Carter, and Gregg Jarrett also with us. Okay, let me start with John. You interviewed him. I am actually going to interview Mr. Campbell on Wednesday of this week. You broke some new ground here. This Iranian, explain what people just heard there. Let me fix my flag.
It's very, very important. If you start where we started a few months ago, we believe that there was one red flag, one reason for Barack Obama not to give all this uranium to the Russians in the form of billions of dollars of contracts, the Uranium One sale. He proved all those things. We now know for the first time that he also was passing along a second red flag. Russia, Rosatom, was assisting Iran's illicit nuclear program. He gave very specific details. And tonight, after my story broke, I got a call from some intelligence sources. They gave me a little bit more information. Doug Campbell was providing information about the Bashir nuclear power plant in Iran. Russia was helping that specific plant. Why is that important? The U.S. was so concerned about that they eventually unleashed the Stuxnet virus with Israel, targeting that very plant. So it was a place we were very concerned about. Doug Campbell was telling the Obama administration early on, this is a problem.
So, wait a minute. So what we're saying here, Sarah, is that Campbell's identifying the specific Russian nuclear plant, the Iranian nuclear plant. The Russians are helping. Now, that goes into the Obama deal to give them all that money. That goes into Campbell knew all this 18 months before they signed off on the Uranium One deal. They knew about all the crimes.
Well, I think this is what's so important here, Sean, for people to remember historically. When the Obama administration in 2010 decided to reset with Russia, they basically pulled away those sanctions that had been put in place by the Bush administration. And when they did that, it opened the gateway. It allowed the Russians to enter our uranium market, our energy market. But at the same time, it allowed the Russians to continue working with the Iranians. And at that point in time, I mean, that Campbell was providing all of this information, the Obama administration was well aware of it. And not only that, it also opened up the door for the SR-300 missiles, their defense missiles that the Russians were going to sell and did sell to Iran so that they could defend these power plants that we were so intent on finding more information about, these nuclear reactors that we believe they were using for their nuclear program, not just for medical use, but to build missiles, to build warheads. And these nuclear power plants were so important at that time to our congressional leaders that they didn't want any of these plans to go through. That's why there were so many people fighting the Uranium One deal.
We are talking about, Victoria, the most important aspects of America's national security. He was involved he understood and was an operative inside Putin's network from 2009, 18 months before the CFIUS approved this Uranium One deal. A lot of this could have been avoided. I know it's not to the level of Stormy Daniels, the porn star, but when it deals with, Sarah's laughing, but seriously, this is America's national security, and Congress, Victoria, literally the Democrats trying to attack your client who bravely got into this network and likely could have been killed, a 30-year operative.
Hey, Sean, you've done so much on this issue, and now it's time for Congress to act. I want you to get the members of the House Intel and Oversight Committee on this show and ask them why, for 5 years, Doug Campbell gave detailed oral briefings to the FBI, sitting in the back of a government van, as he describes it. For 5 years, he gave them all kinds of written product to specify what was going on with the Russians. And luckily,
who was
he kept
the
some of
FBI
them,
director at the time? Oh, that was Robert Mueller, right?
Oh, yes, yes. But is Chris Wray going to act? Now, it's time for Congress to issue a subpoena for those documents if they can't get it by a simple request. But to my knowledge, they haven't even requested it. And the other thing that Congress should ask for is the presidential briefings of President Obama during that time, his daily presidential briefings, because Mr. Campbell was told that the president was receiving information about this investigation. What did Obama know when he was sucking up to the Iranians and also sucking up to the Russians in 2009 and 2010?
John, I only have about 2 minutes left. I want to get everybody in. You spent time around this man, and he has tried at the time to share it with Congress. Why didn't Congress want to hear this? And why didn't the FBI do anything?
Well, we don't know that the FBI didn't do anything. It's possible they reported it up the chain, and that at a higher level in the policy-making structure, someone made a decision, we're going to turn the other way and try to get a deal with Russia. It didn't happen, and we got fleeced for a lot of uranium contracts. Congress has interviewed him, but they haven't gone further in trying to get these documents. And I think the documents create a really clear story about how the United States was taken to the woodshed by Russia.
Sarah?
Yeah, I have to agree with John on this. I mean, look, they need to find out how much was actually shared with our intelligence community, how much did they act on, and how little they acted on it at that time when we came to Uranium One, when it came to our energy market. This is what Doug Campbell can provide. He provides a roadmap so that our Congress can investigate these issues, fully investigate them, vet them, and make them public.
Last word, Victoria.
I want you to get those members on, Sean. You know, I sometimes I get on
I'm going to meet your client
on
on Wednesday, so I'll do that on Wednesday.
We're going to see you on Wednesday, but I want you to get members of those committees on your show and say, why aren't you asking for all of those documents?
I know, but it's not Stormy. How could anyone ever want to pay attention to something that actually impacts people's lives and national security and safety of the American people?
It's very sad.
And I'm not being facetious. It is pathetic.
cynical.
It is, yeah, exactly. All right, guys, thank you.